Good morning, it's Allyson from QuiltNCode. I have my delightful coffee. This is like just my second of the day. I'm just gonna sit here and savor it because it has been a weekend. I am so happy that you have joined us for our Hankie challenge. You are not gonna believe this, but I dreamed last night. Okay, it wasn't a dream. It was just this is just too beautiful for what I'm trying to do. I need to make it bigger. And so, like most quilters, I am biggering. And so that's what today is all about, is how I'm going to show you how we're going to bigger this project and how awesome the project is coming out. And that's why it has to be biggered. So let me take a cup of my coffee. I'm going to take a whole cup and we will get started. Well, guys, we have been working for several weeks on this notebook challenge. And so the notebook challenge was using hankies to sort of make a notebook that was like this, because I use lots of, you can tell, I use lots of composition notebooks. So I thought this would be great. I have a nice notebook cover to cover one of my composition books. I have like 3 that are ready to be transitioned out. And so it's like really time for a new notebook cover. In fact, I have a notebook I don't even have a cover on. So it's like, this needs to get done. Anyway, it's not going to get done because I have totally decided I'm changing the project. So I really hope you guys had a great weekend. Our weekend was an adventure. Okay, our adventure yesterday was to, I wanted to take my children to the movies. Okay, you know, my children are, yeah, you just snicker back there in the back. So
I
they
just think
decided.
it was the child that asked to go to the movie on Saturday night.
Right, Saturday night, they decided. Now we live in the middle of nowhere, okay, and so to go anywhere is a mess. And then if you don't know, my middle child does not drive yet, and he is in the middle of nowhere. And they wanted to go together to this anime movie. They could only go yesterday afternoon because that's when the subtitles are. Why you would want to watch a movie that is subtitled is beyond my understanding, but that's okay. This is where they wanted to go and what they wanted to do. So I was being a good parent. Okay. I was not quite sure I was ready for my youngest to actually drive on highway roads by himself. I wasn't ready for that. So I was kind of nervous about that. And then the middle one wanted to go, and he's coming home for the week. It's a sort of a spring break for him anyway. So it was a good opportunity for us to go get him, take them to the movies, and then come home for the week. Okay. So the adventure starts with, there's a road closed on the way to go get my son. We live in the mountains of North Carolina. So, you know, that happens frequently. Okay. So yes, I chose the alternate route, and I was letting my youngest drive because, you know, he needs the experience. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. It's taking us on my old stomping grounds. It's going through Pisgah Forest, where I used to run as a cross-country runner for Brevard College. And I was, you know, so I was like, yes, you know, let's take this alternate route. It's a gorgeous day. Let's just do this. And so I'm like, oh, it's taking us near the fish hatchery. That's great. But there are no roads up there. Like, those are running trails. At least they were a long time ago when I was running on them in college. And so we go past the fish hatchery saying, bye, fish hatchery, and up, we get to the top. And the next thing you know, we're going through the mud and onto a dirt road. Now, Google has us, and there's lots of people because, you know, like it was a beautiful day. Great day for hiking, great day for biking, great day for hiking. I mean, they had backpacks and everything. So there were lots of people. I wasn't too concerned about that. Somebody was going to bail us out if we got, you know. But I'm sitting here going, we need to be at a 2:00 movie. I mean, like, if we have to turn around at this point, we're not going to make it. So we rode on a gravel road for 8 miles. I was a nervous wreck. You know, meanwhile, I'm telling my son not to drive too close to the truck in front of him. And he's like, I don't want to lose the truck in front of me. And I'm like, you're not going to lose the truck in front of you, especially the way you're driving right now. Anyway, we get down, and all of a sudden, we're back on road. Okay. And then we're there. We're at Jeremy's place of work. He works at the Pisgah Astronomical Research Facility. I won't go into too many details about how I got to my son, because apparently it wasn't as legal as it should have been. But we finally got, I mean, there's no like way of contacting him because we're in the middle of nowhere. So I had to do a little hiking through the woods, and you're not supposed to do that at Perry. And so I confess, I got into a little trouble. I'm very, very fortunate that he didn't lose his job. We're all good. But I have been sternly reprimanded to never do that again. And we have now put in places how we can contact my son when we get there for the future. Anyway, we get my son, okay? I tell him to take the bare minimum because it took me longer to get there to get my son, to get him back down the mountain, to get into the car to leave. Okay, so we get back in the car to leave. Okay, short story is that I was not going back over that mountain. So we decided we were going to take whatever detour they had us take. Okay, we get over there and they say, road closed, road closed. That road wasn't closed. And not only that, but the detour would have been 2 minutes. 2 minutes was the detour. So, like, I thought, anyway, it was a beautiful day in the Pisgah National Forest. So I have to say.
So the moral of that story is never to trust Google in the mountain.
Okay, Google had us. She didn't have us. It wasn't until we got back on the road that she said, in 100 feet, please turn left. And I was like, oh, there you are. Now you show up. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, let's get back to our notebook. I really hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. We are going to have a great weekend with our sons, both of them. They enjoyed the movie. We did make it in the nick of time for them to watch their movie. I got to sit in the car in a gorgeous afternoon and just enjoy the sunlight and just relax for a few hours. Actually, I didn't just do that. I did work a bit, but I did actually sit down and just relax and listen to a novel. And anyway, so I did that. Anyway, we're going to get back to this. I really swear we are. Okay, here we go. I'm so sorry I took you on my weekend adventure. I have gone ahead with the major part of the napkin, and I went ahead and stitched. I got him down. So, got to move this way. And I'll move you up just a little bit. Okay, so I went ahead and stitched around. Okay, all I did was take a white stitch and go around where the stitching already was. Okay, and so that's sort of what it looks like on the back. Everything looks, great. Everything's tacked down. Don't have to worry about anything there. Okay. The problem with all of this is that over the weekend, while I was waiting for children to get out of a movie, I finished my flowers. Guys, this is just too beautiful. I'm like loving this so much now. The flowers are not perfect. Remember, I am a brand new hand embroiderer. And so some of them I'm like, oh my gosh, that's just fabulous. And some of them I'm like, I'm going to leave this because one, from a distance, I can't even tell. And two, you all need to know that it's okay not to rip. It's okay not to, one flower, two flowers. Okay, so there's 5 or 6 flowers I would have pulled out because individually they are not quite perfect. But what is perfect? And so if you'll notice, like this one's a little on the big side. That one, these were a little bit like, I think I was getting a little tired at that point. But I love every single one of them. I did rip out a French knot. This one is not as good as I wanted it to be. It's not as tight, but I did rip out a French knot or two because they just weren't. French knots are hard and they take a lot of practice. And so I did rip a couple of those out. I think it was over here where they were just too small or too not in the right place. And so I was getting better and better each time I did them. Those are the only things I ripped out. I think I ripped out 2 French knots and that's it. Okay. And the rest of it I have left. It's not perfect, but you can't even tell. It's absolutely gorgeous. And because of that, I am switching gears. Okay. I am also in need of, poor Joyce. She thinks she's going to get these things back. I'm going to have to do duplicates of everything because yeah, I don't know if I can give these back. So I'm going to switch to a larger notebook. I don't know if you can see that. I could make it a little lower. I'm switching to a larger notebook. I also have this pattern on our our website. And so at least if it's not there right now, it will be, because Lanny is furiously looking, feverishly, whatever the word is, looking on the website right now to see if we have it. And if not, I'll make sure that pattern gets up there. And so what we're going to do is, luckily I had made this kind of big enough that I really don't need to add too much to it, but I think I will. I think I'll add another strip up here or down there. I don't know which. And then what I'm going to do is that will give me room here to put this over here, and it will give me room here. This is what we're going to do today, is make the we're going to make the pocket. And so that will get everything. Isn't that just delightful? This is where this was meant to be. Okay. This is just where it was meant to be. And so I can trim off a little bit on the sides of this, a little bit to get it sort of closer in. I could probably trim off just a little bit more on the sides of here, but this is also my main piece. I don't want to take too much away from the focus. And so another thing that I'm just enjoying the hand embroidery and doing the hand embroidery is that I have a little bit of white here and a little bit of white up here. So I'm kind of thinking I want to do like a running hand embroidery stitch that's, I don't know, I was looking at hand embroidery stitches last night again, and I was like, oh my gosh, that one would be just a nice little, you know, blanket stitch or something right across there would just be a really good practice for me, and it would make it look really cool. The other thing I think next week I want to do is I want to try and put in some piping right here. Before I add this to this, I want to put in a little piping and show you how to do that. And so that will be next week's. And so let's talk about how we're going to finish off this pocket today. And so the pocket, I was scared I didn't have enough. Let me move you over here too. So I was scared I wouldn't have enough of the yellow to, I really love the yellow. I think the yellow just really looks wonderful with this right here. And so I was really scared I wouldn't have enough, and it looks like I have plenty. I think I have just a little bit even left over that I could put on the back when I'm going to do stuff on the back, which is another thing now I've got to figure out, because now I have the front, now I have to get the back and the side, or it could go on the side of the notebook. And so that, or the spine of the notebook. And so that might be it. Okay. And so that will come to me over the next week. It's amazing how much I am just so loving this project. It's so nice to just sit and just be creative and play with whatever the wind is blowing your way, despite the fact that that wind might be, you know, kind of strong today. All right, so this is my pocket. All I'm going to do is put a top stitch right across the top here, and there's my pocket. It's nice and lined. And so what I need is a bottom piece for this right here. And I went ahead and trimmed this down. So I want to show you how I did that, so that you'll know how to do that if you ever want to trim something down like this. I simply fold it in half. Look at me, I've got my like threads, I've got everything everywhere. Anyway, I folded in half, and then I marked my halfway point, starting up with my long edges. Okay. And then with my long edges, I knocked everything down to where it's 5.5 inches. That's perfect for a pocket of this nature. Okay. And I may knock that down even more. It's going to end up being a 5-inch pocket anyway. But also, you know, you've got seam allowance and all that other stuff. So you need to take that into account. And so it might get shrunk down even more, and that's great. Okay, then once I cut these off, all I did was measure what my edge of my white here to the edge and my white here to the edge, and it's 3.25, or it's 3/4 of an inch. So with my top, I used the horizontal line there and the vertical line there to cut 3/4 of an inch off that. And that's what I'm going to do with the bottom too. And so I am using this horizontal line, and then I'm going to switch this ruler because it's got writing there. And then I'm using that horizontal line right there. And then I'm going to cut my vertical, and that will give me a nice, that way everything is uniform. You don't have to worry about it from there on. And I have a rotary cutter here somewhere. Okay. All right, so now this is ready to go, 5.5 inches. This is ready to go. It needs to be ironed a little bit more because my iron just got hot right before I went live. So, you know, I'm really making this up as I go along. And so this needs to be ironed just a little bit more. And I need to figure out which one. The other thing I haven't learned how to do yet is butterflies. My mom had like this sweet outlawing competition last weekend. And so she's been gone. And so she is going to teach me how to do butterflies. Did you hear that, Mom? I know you're watching. She's going to teach me how to do butterflies today so that I can do these cute little butterflies. And so now I have to figure out, do I want it to go, is that the right side up? Or is, it doesn't matter. Both of them are right side up. Anyway, so I am going to put a bottom on here so that I have the back of my pocket. And I have already cut some of this because I just happen to have a little bit more of this than everything else. And so I had cut some of, I had not cut it down enough though. So I was just playing. So let me go ahead and cut you down to 5.5 inches. Where'd my ruler go? There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down to 5.5 inches, and then we will start sewing. I need to change my blade. That's why I have to keep doing everything twice. How many of you guys need to change your blade? Okay, other thing I want to do right here is, let's see, I want to go this way. So I want to make sure that my horizontal and vertical are truly, see, like this is, you can't see it. You can see how I'm not exactly straight. I want to make sure I'm straight if I'm getting ready to put this here. I want to make sure that that's straight so that I get a nice straight line. And so when you're using scraps, that's a problem that you run into. Either way, you're constantly needing to be squaring your fabric, and that's what I do. Okay, so I am going to stitch across here with 1/4 of an inch, and I am going to stitch across here with 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to start with the 1/8 of an inch because I currently have my machine set up for its normal position. So when I turn my machine on, my machine is normally in that center position. I'm going to use that for my 1/8 of an inch. And I am using just a white thread, and neutral thread would be fine. I thought white for this would be just fine. And so there is my top stitch right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and move my needle over so that I can use the edge of my presser foot for this next step. And just iron that in place and make it look really pretty. And then my pocket's going to come up like that. Isn't it just delightful? And I'm not going to trim anything yet because I'm not quite there yet. I know I want to do a to make it even, I know we're just learning all sorts of new skills here, to do a little piping so that you can see a little bit of piping next week. I'm going to leave that right there like that. Okay, cool. So I'm going to lay this over to the side right over here. One of the things that's getting ready that we really need to focus on now is that now that I'm not going to do any more, I am not going to do any more embroidery where I have to lift this up or anything like that. The embroidery that I'm talking about doing is probably going along here, where I'm just doing a little flower or a couple butterflies or something like that. And so I don't need to worry about having to get underneath here to do any grass or anything anymore. So we have not tacked down these pieces. This is not gonna, they've got to get tacked down. And so all I'm gonna do is change my thread so that I have my invisible thread on there. And I'm gonna just do a simple stitch across the top, and that will hold everything in place. We've been wanting to do this since the beginning because those things were just so nervous. Okay, I am nervous, not you guys, but I am nervous that those things are gonna get, especially because this is something I want to use, or Joyce will use if I can manage to give it up. And so we want to make sure that we're tacking things down here. So I'm just going to use my invisible thread. This one is my sulky, and it doesn't matter which one you use. I am blind as a bat when it comes to this. Okay, it's amazing how my eyes changed when it comes to this thread. So I'm going to put my glasses on so I have it. There we go. And it just helps me to see everything because it's kind of shimmery. It doesn't have a color to it. Okay. So I am going to knock this back to the center position. And yes, absolutely. And Lainey says, move that other camera so y'all can see. So, so I'm just going to sort of follow that. You won't even be able to see it. And so I'm not really even worried about, in fact, I could increase my stitch length because I'm really just tacking things down. I'm not really worried. I just want to make sure that that doesn't fly out and that type of thing. So you can see how all I'm going to do is tack this down. Try and get my hand out of the way. So this weekend on Saturday is virtual vacation day. And so what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to be like, uploading your vacation, your favorite vacation, I don't know, pictures, stuff like that. So I figure I'll just do a live and have a vacation with you guys. I mean, this is sort of my vacation. I absolutely love sewing, and like right now, everyone downstairs is running the shop and I don't have to worry about it. And so I'm thinking Saturday, I might just have to come in here and sew with y'all. I don't know what I'm going to sew yet. It might be getting ready for this. So I might do a little bit of this. Might get some of my hand embroidery done that I want to put on the top of this. I don't know. So there's that one. He's probably going to be my hardest because he was kind of, and you can't even see it, but it keeps it so that it's not flying all over the place. This one, just going to be able to go straight across pretty much. And no one will be able to tell, but it will protect it and keep it in its place. It's just a little extra protection, like this guy. Probably could take all my needles out now. It's pretty much done. Let me see if I can unfold that guy. There you are. See why it's needed? Right there.
Well, it says it. Look at this. It turned out lovely.
Oh, right. Like, it's so lovely that I can't, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be able to give it away. I mean, like, it's so hard to give the stuff we create away anyway, but this has taken so much like design elements and stuff that I've learned new stuff. I'm like, I don't know if I can give away. There are things, you know, like you make and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm done with this. It's like, woohoo! I'm ready to give it away. And then there are some things like this, I can't seem to give them away. I couldn't give a purse away either. I mean, Joyce, I don't know what to tell you. Did I get that one? Nope. And then there's one more up there. There. All right. Look at that. Okay, wait a minute. Squishy out. There you go. So it doesn't take long. And all this is doing is tacking everything down so that we can not be nervous that especially, you know, a notebook like this that we're making, that notebook isn't gonna, you know, I want to use it. I want, you know, to be able to. And on the back, I think we're ready to finish this up. I don't want to use too much more lace. We can use that in our next project. And, you know, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, Joyce is one of these days going to say she wants some of this stuff. And I'm going to be like, okay, well, I think there's enough for me to make two. So, so that I can take this design and make my own if I have to. I'm looking at all the blue handkerchiefs. I was going through my handkerchiefs again this morning. Not my Joyce's handkerchiefs this morning. I'm gonna have to start collecting handkerchiefs. I was like, oh, the next project is blue. And you know, this is lovely and stuff, and I have so enjoyed working with these greens. And but now I'm ready. I really am kind of ready to move on to a different color palette. So blues are next. I don't know what I'm doing with the blues yet, but blues are next. I have another butterfly with the blues. So, all right. So there is the front. Expect next week that there will be a little bit more hand embroidery across here, maybe across here. And I'm going to add another piece up here. I don't know lengthwise if I might have to go, that's too bright. I might have to go, this one is really wants to go in this direction. And so I really can't put it across the top like that. So that's kind of disappointing, but that's okay. And then next week we'll work on let me move this over here so you can see that. Next week we'll work on doing if you've never done piping before, then this is a great opportunity to sort of see and dip your feet into whether or not you'd want to do that. It's really not that hard, and it adds like an amazing quality to whatever you're doing. And so whether you're putting it on a girl's dress or a boy's pocket or whatever, it's really not hard. And it just adds this element of detail that is absolutely exquisite. And so I'm going to try and teach you that next week. No, I am not going to try. There's only do. I will teach you how to do piping next week. And then I will probably go ahead and by next week have a back piece. I do like the idea of using this as the spine of my notebook cover. And so we'll at least have the front together next week because we'll put the piping on there and get our pocket on there. And so it's going to sort of be like that with the piping. Here we go. And we'll have piping here. This is going to have to be just a little bit larger just to, what? And so that's sort of, and then we'll have a back to it. But isn't that going to be just like exquisite? Oh my God. Just, oh, sorry, Joyce. It's just too daggone pretty. So, yes, this is just turning out to be fantastic. Beyond my wildest dreams. And so, yeah, so next week, I'm gonna let you go. Next week, we'll do some piping. You've seen how to do a simple pocket today where we simply made this longer. We trimmed this down, stitched that down. Oh, and I'll probably need to go around this with my clear thread just to make sure that these little things don't go getting out of control. And then, the only thing left to do with the pocket is to simply stitch that in with the rest of the bag. You don't have to do anything else. This is all you needed to do with the pocket front, and it's nice and lined. And then what we'll do is do the piping, and then I'm gonna try and find enough of these colors that I've already used within the quilt, or sorry, within the piece to make the backing. And so that is what's going to happen next week. Well, I look at all my scraps and hope that, I mean, like I have enough of this to definitely do some of the back. I mean, I'm just going to have to piece it. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And so I will piece the back. It'll be interesting to see whether I piece the back lengthwise or crazy, or I could do it vertical wise. So that's widthwise. So that will be, oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Okay. So I will see you on Thursday. I am going to stop it here. Thursday is our Wander Lane Live. For the Wander Lane Live, we are working on a chick project, and that project I am working on some hand embroidery. That should be done as well on Thursday, and we're going to put this baby together because it is Easter next Saturday, so we need to have this thing up on the wall, although this is springy enough, I think, that I can leave it up for a little bit. And so that we're going to finish this up. It's going to be a wall hanging, not a wall hanging, it's going to be a door hanger. And so join us on Thursday for finishing that project up. Super easy, something you can do all year long with different little projects. And so it just has a little bit of hand embroidery. Boy, am I getting good at that. So I never would have thought that. I know my mother is like sitting down there watching this going, yeah, when did that happen? Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, join us Thursday.
Since we're going to be closed next Monday, are you still going to
Oh, am I still going to do next Monday since we're going to be closed next Monday? We'll do it from home. Yeah, because I can't help it. I need to do this like my spring project. So if we don't do it Monday, we'll do it Tuesday. How's that sound? We'll do it Tuesday. Let's plan on doing it Tuesday. That way we can have a day off and I can get all my hand stitching done. So that would be great. So, oh, and Laney wants to do one too because there is a major scam going around, and so he wanted to know.
more local?
Oh, right. It's about cable TV. So local, we're going to do a local one about how Spectrum and Cablevision are changing some of their stuff. And so Laney wanted to sort of talk everyone through that if you were interested. And so that's coming up next Tuesday as well. And so we'll have 2 lives next Tuesday. One for me and one for Laney. But this Thursday, we're going to be finishing the Wander Lane. Saturday, I'm going to do something. I haven't figured out what that is. I might just sit up here and talk and sew but we're going to be on vacation. Let's put it that way. And it's probably going to be in the afternoon after the shop is closed, so I don't have to worry about anything else. And we'll do something just relaxed, vacation-wise. And so if you've enjoyed, share, like, subscribe, do all that other social media stuff, and tell your friends. And we will see you on Thursday. Bye, everybody.